Hey, what's up? So, I'm a huge Batman comic fan. I've been all over YouTube and ChatGPT and Google looking for, reading orders and suggestions. So, I'm going to do my best right now to make the video that I wish I would have found when I first got into reading Batman comics. So, this should cover everything, including all of the stuff that other people talk about in every Batman reading order video that you've probably seen already. So I'll be quick on that stuff, and I'm going to add in some extras that it took me a while to find that you might not find in some other videos. So without further ado, this is what I'm going to call the ultimate guide to Batman comics. Okay, first one on the list, Batman Year One by Frank Miller. If you have any interest in reading Batman comics, you've probably read this already, or you've heard of it. Every reading order starts with this book. There's not much to say about it that hasn't already been said. It's awesome. It feels a lot like the Batman 2022 movie, actually. If you've seen that, so that's a good jumping on point. It is pretty much the only jumping on point that I would recommend. So yeah, we're gonna cut it there. A classic. So the next book is Batman the Man Who Laughs by Ed Brubaker. The reason I'm recommending this one after Year One is Gordon and Batman's relationship is still, pretty fresh. It also has a similar presentation with the way we get, the inner thoughts of both Gordon and Batman with different colored text bubbles to indicate who's who. Same exact format as Year One. So this is the story of Joker's first attack on Gotham and his first meeting with Batman. It's a modern retelling, so this isn't, the first time Joker shows up, but in the timeline, this is the first time. After that, there's a short story by Matt Wagner called Batman and the Monster Men, and it is his first encounter with Hugo Strange, who will show up later, so... Next up is The War of Jokes and Riddles by Tom King. This is I think it's a 4-issue arc from his Batman run during Rebirth. Still no Robin, so that's why it's here in the timeline. This is Riddler versus Joker. They each use all of Batman's villains, and they kind of, form sides, and it's nuts. It's a nice, comic book that kind of resembles, playing with action figures and having all the Batman villains out, and it's just a really cool story. I'm not sure what the actual continuity of this one is, but the way it works for me is if Robin hasn't shown up yet, then this is before Year 3, so that's why I'm putting it here. Also, this is the only arc from Tom King's entire run that I am putting on this timeline video, because everything else is way in the future. Okay, next up is Batman The Long Halloween by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. This is a classic. Same thing with Year One. We're going to keep it short. This is Batman's entire second year. It's a 12-month story, 12 issues. Which, if you have the patience, it would be cool to read this throughout an entire year, which I've always thought of but never done myself. Most reading order videos would put this right after Year One, but any story that doesn't have Robin in it, you can slot in before this and after Year One. Right after that, we have Batman Dark Victory by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. Again, This is a nice combo of books to read back to back. Tim Sale's art is just my favorite. Of course, Jeph Loeb carrying the story, but gotta give some love to the art when you can. This is a classic. Around the same time, we also have the Year One books by Chuck Dixon. So we have Robin Year One, Batgirl Year One, and Nightwing. We're gonna save Nightwing for a little later, but some of the stuff that happens in Dark Victory is kind of, retreaded in Robin Year One, but still these books, especially Batgirl and Robin Year One as a combo, they're very solid, and the Batgirl one especially it's really good. Next up is Batman Ego. This is a really cool, surreal trip of a book where Bruce Wayne talks to Batman. Pretty much the whole story, I guess, takes place inside of Bruce Wayne's mind. It's just the whole book is a metaphor for his inner demons and his struggles and the reason that he dresses up as a bat and that whole thing. Next up is Faces by Matt Wagner. This is a story where Two-Face escapes from Arkham and abducts a bunch of people with deformities to form a country of his own. Matt Wagner, as you can see, he will be popping up a lot on this list. He's got a lot of good, small Batman stories that focus on villains in very interesting ways. Next up is a miniseries called Arkham Asylum, Living Hell by Dan Slott. This is the only DC comic by Dan Slott that I'm aware of. It's really funny. It's a good read. It's about this guy who gets sent to Arkham who is way too unprepared to be there. Also introduces this cool villain, Humpty Dumpty, who is obsessed with putting things back together and genuinely thinks he's helping. Next up is Mark Waid's World's Finest. This is a pretty big series now. This is like early Batman. We got Dick Grayson as Robin. Him and Supergirl go on a date. They meet each other. Just a bunch of fun superhero team-up stories. And right about this time is when Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. So we have Nightwing Year One by Chuck Dixon, where he meets Jason Todd. Also, any Jason Todd comics can go around this time, but there's some weird stuff with the Crisis and him. Which brings us into Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is the most important DC comic of all time. It's changed a lot. It's not very Batman focused, but it's important. Next up, we have another classic, Killing Joke by Allan Moore. Any Batgirl story can go before this, and I'm not going to spoil it because everyone else does, so go read this one for yourself. Batman 10 Nights of the Beast, written by Jim Starlin, is a story where Batman fights the KG Beast, who is a Russian assassin, and it also features Jason Todd as Robin for his eventual death in Batman, A Death in the Family, also by Jim Starlin. One of the most popular Batman comics of all time. Usually we'd skip a lot, we'd jump right to this, but any Jason Todd story you can use before this, but there's not a lot of them. After Jason Todd's short stint as the Joker, we get Batman, A Lonely Place of Dying, where Tim Drake deduces the identity of Batman and Robin and convinces Bruce that he needs a partner to do what he does best. From this point on, Tim Drake is Robin for a while, including the entire Knightfall saga, which is a lot of comics running through a lot of different series. It was a big event, but if you just want a taste of Bane and who he is, you can read the 2-issue series Vengeance of Bane, which shows the first time him and Batman fight, and it wraps up after Knightfall once Batman has recovered and returns to the mantle. Another one of my favorites during this time was Showcase 94, which is a series that includes a bunch of mini-stories, and this one happens to feature a lot of different Batman villains and characters. My favorite one being issue 8 and 9 with the Scarface story, showing how the ventriloquist originally met Scarface the dummy and how they escaped from Blackgate. Also a really cool issue where the Arkham prisoners play baseball against the Blackgate prisoners. Nightwing the Target is a story by Chuck Dixon where Dick Grayson is framed for murder and takes up the mantle of the Target to solve the case himself while he is on leave from the police force, and he is a cop during this time. Also, Chuck Dixon's run fits during this timeline as well. We have Batman Contagion. I haven't read it yet. I'm not going to pretend like I have. There's a disease that's released into Gotham. Then we have Cataclysm, which is another big event that goes through a lot of books. This is a huge earthquake that hits Gotham and affects a lot of stories. Even if you don't read Cataclysm, you will see mention of an earthquake to this day in Batman comics. The events of Cataclysm lead directly into No Man's Land, where Gotham City is cut off from the rest of the United States, and the villains start to take control of the city, introducing a new Batgirl too. Both in real life and during the comics at the time, in the 90s, we have the introduction of Harley Quinn. Her comic introduction comes in Paul Dini's Harley Quinn during the events of No Man's Land. Next up, we have the two most overhyped Batman comic books of all time, Hush and Under the Hood. The second one, which I consider one of the only good Jason Todd stories. They really couldn't and still can't figure his character out to this day. Batman Hush is a predictable mess. I don't find the villain of Hush interesting at all. If you have any brain, you'll be able to predict the entire book as you're reading it. I don't even know why I'm putting it here, but it's, it's mentioned in the future. Hush, unfortunately, is still a character in the DC universe, so the events of this book are canon in the timeline and do affect things going forward. Under the Hood is a much better read, though, but these two do tie in with the return of Jason Todd. If you're interested in him, you have to read these books. After this is the universe-spanning events of Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis, and 52. Identity Crisis is a very dark, personal story about superheroes and the real people that they are, what they go through as co-workers and friends. Infinite Crisis is a cosmic disaster relating to the multiverse. And then we have 52, which is a weekly 52-issue series running for the entirety of the year, exploring the year off after Infinite Crisis. Okay, we finally made it to Grant Morrison's Batman. This is where it's at, people. You gotta read a bunch of Batman before you get here, or you're not gonna appreciate it as much. And I know that sounds pretentious, but that's just the way it is. If I would have read this a couple years ago, I would have had no clue what's going on. We have Batman and Robin, we have Batman Incorporated, we have just a bunch of stuff by Grant Morrison at this time that goes into Final Crisis too. Professor Pig shows up in this run. We have Damian Wayne for the first time. This is just one of the best Batman runs of all time. It goes all the way up to Scott Snyder's New 52 run, and Grant Morrison actually still writes Batman Incorporated through the New 52. Before we get to that, I need to talk about Batman Black Mirror by Scott Snyder. This is during Dick Grayson's time as Batman still, before Bruce takes over again. I'm not going to tell you why, but this is probably my favorite book on this whole list. We see James Gordon Jr., who is an absolute psychopath, and this story is just so good.
Riddle me this, Batman. What's overhyped? Lacks continuity, making sense, and wasn't really that good when you thought it would be. Oh, you guessed it. It's the New 52 run.
I didn't really like it that much. Seriously, though, everyone talks about how cool this shit is. What is going on here, dude? Wait, first of all, everything in Batman's life has supposedly happened in 5 years up until this point. So Jason Todd died and came back to life. He had like 3 Robins apparently. All of the events of everything. It just doesn't make any sense when you think about it, which really bothered me while reading it. Also, the court's not that cool. It's just a bunch of guys in white masks. Every single idea that was kind of interesting, like Nightwing becoming a Talon, or I can't even remember, or, you know, there being a secret society under Gotham, it was kind of just hinted at. This was just a lot of fighting and punching. I don't really want that in a Batman story. I want it to be smart, but this guy's only been Batman for 5 years apparently, and that just, I'd say it doesn't make sense to me at all. Volume 3. But the best thing about this entire run is Greg Capullo's art. It's probably the only reason I can actually keep reading. Death of the Family was kind of cool. Once again, introduced a pretty interesting idea about Joker actually knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne, but the things they do with it are not that cool, and I'm not even including future Scott Snyder stuff on this list because it's not real to me. Also, immediately after they got me with Death of the Family, they lost me again with 0 Year. This just makes no sense with any other continuity. The New 52 is really just a world of its own. I read some of the stuff because I wanted to see Professor Pig come back, but he took a while to come back. Also, my problem with this story was not just the continuity errors, it was the story itself. It was just boring. It seems very just primitive after reading a lot of other things. I don't get it, but I really thought this would be good after hearing so much about it. Oh yeah, somehow I forgot to talk about Trinity by Matt Wagner, which is the first time that Batman meets Superman and Wonder Woman. This is a really cool story. I don't really like superhero team-ups because they get kind of boring and kind of lofty when we have like 7 characters talking to each other, but this is really cool for the first meeting of these characters. My favorite part of this book by far is Bizarro. He's so funny. All of his inner thoughts refer to Ra's al Ghul as Racer Cool, which, by the way, I call him Roz. But for the sake of this book, that is pretty funny. We also have a story that's considered out of continuity, but you could probably put it in year 1 or 2, before any major supervillains pop up, and obviously before Robin. We have Batman the Imposter, which is a cool story where a mysterious person dresses up as Batman and starts releasing criminals that Batman locked up and killing them. And the media thinks that it's actually Batman. There's also Batman White Knight, which is definitely out of continuity. This is a story where Joker goes semi-sane and kind of turns the tables. It's a pretty cool story. There's also Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. In this universe, Batman quits after Jason Todd's death, and he comes back after 10 years, and the world is a very different place. There's also Batman Earth 1, which is an alternate universe origin story. The Earth 1 books didn't really take off. This one I liked a lot, though. Not so much the Green Lantern one. Haven't read the other ones. Also, if you like Two-Face as much as I do, read this Two-Face arc from Peter J. Tomasi's Nightwing. I don't remember what the issue numbers are. I'll put them on the screen, but this is a great Two-Face story. Read it if you like the character. Also Nightwing. So yeah, that about does it. I think I mentioned everything I wanted to talk about. If this video does well, or if I get enough motivation to do it, I might do a Batman year-by-year timeline. So let me know if you guys want to see that. I also like Green Lantern, so I might do some videos about him, or really anything. Maybe not comics, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think, if you found this helpful, if you made it this far. Thank you for watching. I don't know if I'm going to make more videos, but putting this out there, and we'll see how it goes.